everybody. It's Coffee with Boys, day 8. How's everybody doing? Woo. We're here with Buckaroo Girl. She's been here the last couple days helping us interview our cowboys and cowgirls, and now we've got her in the hot seat.
Woohoo! I'm excited. Bring it on.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
And this is her first year in Vegas for the NFR, so.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Have you actually gotten to go out and do some stuff?
I haven't yet. I'm actually going to this afternoon, so we've got music here at the stage at 3, and in between now and then I'm going to be going and running and trying to see as many people as possible.
Well, and you've got quite the following. We've seen a lot of people gathering here looking for you. How did that whole following come about?
Honestly, I have no idea. I think it really kind of happened by accident. When I was 14, I started singing, and we heard that you were supposed to, and when I say we, my parents and I, who were driving me to performances and stuff like that, we were supposed to post on social media. And so it was like, okay, we'll get a MySpace. It was in the days of MySpace.
Is MySpace even around anymore?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Has anybody tried MySpace lately? I haven't.
I'm afraid to see what's on there anymore.
Yeah, I kind of am too. It was a little sketchy when it was like in its prime, but now it's, it was the big deal to have the perfect layout, the perfect song, and the this and the that.
So you started on MySpace.
I started on MySpace. We put up some songs up there, and then it was really weird. When I started riding bucking horses and kind of going to shows and doing both of those at the same time, I started writing about it, just really honestly, quite frankly, not even thinking about it. And it was funny to see how when I was trying to do it before on MySpace, it was kind of not a big deal. And then when I was just like, whatever, I'll just be me, that was what ended up taking off. And it's been so weird because the website traffic and the YouTube subscribers and the blog followers and the Instagram stuff, it's just blown up. I don't even know why. Quite frankly, it's kind of funny. It's like, well, this is really cool. This many people care about what boots I'm wearing. That's awesome.
Well, I think people love you so much because you're so authentic, and I believe you wrote your first song when you were 14.
I did, yes ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about that song, how that came about.
Well, actually, I wrote my first album when I was 14. I started out in opera, which was a little different. Not a lot of people know that. I started out in opera, and I loved it because it was an area that I could really just kind of have a big voice and not be made fun of for it. And you could have a big voice and people appreciated that in opera. And so I was a mezzo-soprano for quite a few years, and I just loved it, and I had that classical background, that classical training. And because I was horseback so much as a kid, and we were around livestock so much, when you're kind of a preteen and a teenager, you're starting to have all these emotions and all these feelings. And I think a lot of teenagers go and they act it out in like really bad behavior and stuff like that. And for me, I was able to kind of let it out in art and music. That was kind of my outlet. And I started writing about things I was feeling, thinking, things I was reading about. And the first song was Highway 80, and that was just kind of a song about missing Nevada and missing the people and the places that I kind of grown up around when I was younger, and feeling like, gosh, I want to go back to cowboy country. And it was just a very honest, very kid-like song. And yeah, it's so funny to read it now.
Well, I think it's so impressive how true to yourself you are. That's something that's very hard as a woman growing up from preteen, and you get into that peer pressure. Do you get a lot of those influences? Do you have a lot of kids that are coming to you?
I do, and that's really weird for me because I'm not going to say that I didn't ever give into that peer pressure when I was a kid. There's always that time where you go, oh gosh, come on, Adrian. I didn't always get it right, but because my parents were also my best friends growing up, I really had somebody to be honest with. It never felt like growing up, oh, I can't tell them something, or it was a really great way to grow up because you had security with your parents loving you, and I feel like everybody my sister was the person that I looked up to growing up. That was who I wanted to model myself after. And so now when I have little girls coming up to me, it's like, okay, I am what Lizzie was to me, to them, and I have to do a good job. And it's kind of scary because I don't always get it right. I don't always do it perfectly. I'm human. But it's always this great reminder of, okay, you have this little girl watching you. What are you going to do? How are you going to act? How are you going to encourage them? So,
you have a wildly popular blog post, The Dear Cowgirl.
Yeah.
Those come out, it seems like they come out weekly. You have something to give back to your community. Is that how that came about, is trying to set an example?
It actually really, it was another one of these accidents, quite frankly. I'd gotten a letter, and we've been talking a little bit off camera about, kind of how hard social media can be. People through the computer sometimes can be more, it's gonna be okay. This is what you were meant to do. And for some reason I was just like, I feel like I need to post this. And I did, and it was so weird because that first posting, it got like a couple thousand likes, and people kept writing about it and writing in and sending messages. And I was like, wow, they really related to that. That was really cool. And then I started doing it, every Tuesday there's a new Dear Cowgirl, every Thursday there's a new Dear Cowgirl, and I just write letters to people about, they're addressed to Dear Cowgirl, about the things that I struggled with and I still struggle with. And I think all women struggle with, a certain amount of things, and we each have our own battles, but people are scared to talk about it. And I really want to be vocal about it and say, hey, it's okay, we all deal with these issues. And I feel you. I get what you're going through. It's gonna be okay.
Well, I don't think you have any problems with being vocal.
No, I'm a loudmouth. Dad. Try living with me. It's really hard.
Well, I think you have such a fascinating background. I know that you mentioned it a few times that you grew up in a teepee. You have to tell us. You have to tell us how you were brought up.
So I was brought up my parents are just cool people. Let's put it that way. They're just plain cool people. My dad was a SWAT cop for a long time in Southern California, and he was wounded during the Rodney King trials in Los Angeles. And when he was retired, he decided to open a saddle shop, and it was one of the best things ever because I grew up in the saddle shop with him having, Ian Tyson and Waddy Mitchell and Don Edwards and Chris Ledoux playing in the saddle shop, and getting to see my dad at work. And then we went to Northern Nevada, and he was working on ranches out there, and so that was a great kind of jump start in life, being around, but being able to still be around your dad when he's working. But my mom always really had itchy feet. I call them itchy feet. She always liked to go new places and do new things, and she's not scared of anything. And we ended up moving to Scotland. We ended up moving overseas to Europe. We sold everything. We packed up 4 suitcases, and we went to St. Andrews, Scotland, and we spent almost 5 years over there. And let me tell you what, roping is not legal over there. That's the only bad thing about it. Well, it's not America, but roping isn't legal over there, and it's a completely different world. But it also gave this really great whole other experience and this whole other different life to kind of put back into context when I started doing other things in life later on. And then when we moved back to the States, I wasn't a girly girl growing up. I was never the makeup wearing girl. I was never the doing my hair. I love the outdoors. I trapped. I was horseback every day, and I got really into the fur trade era, and teepees I just thought it was super cool, and I ended up, saving up all my money, buying a 14-foot lodge, and my horse would haul it for me on a travelway, and it was great. My mom let me do my school out there. I was homeschooled, and she'd come out and check on my work and check on me, and it was great. I couldn't get into any trouble because what are you going to do out in the middle of a pasture in a teepee? I mean, you're really not going to get into that much trouble.
I feel like that's as close as you can get to living 100 years ago, which I think is a dream that everybody had at some point or another.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's good to kind of return to that as much as possible.
Well, I think everybody desperately wants to have simplicity in their life, and it's such a crazy world. How do you go and find your balance now? Because you're always on the road. I'm always on the road right now. Honestly, for me, I have to really work at it because I'm a workaholic. My dad's a workaholic. The man will not stop, and I'm exactly like that. And so I will literally run myself ragged if I can. So I have to force myself when I get home for a few days at a time. I'll go camp. I'll go pack up my cowboy teepee and pack it in the back of the truck, and I'll go take my guns and I'll go camp. And I'll just turn off the cell phone, get away from all the technology, and I'll go read a book, and I'll go hang out and go shoot, and I'll go on hikes, and I'll go sleep outside. And that's kind of a good return for me. What a great way to center yourself.
Yeah, that's really new, and I always feel rejuvenated and happy when I get done with that. But it's definitely something that you have to make yourself go do, because sometimes when you get back from being on the road, you just want to put on your sweats and kind of lay on the couch and stuff. So you kind of have to make yourself, okay, this is good for you.
Oh yeah, we're the big fans of stretchy pants.
Seriously, I have to say, yesterday I went and took like a 10-minute nap. I didn't even take off my Times jeans. I just took off the belt because they were so comfortable. I just curled into bed. It was great. It was like, wow, this is a real testament to how comfortable these jeans are. I think they might replace my yoga pants.
I don't know if anything could replace my yoga pants, but they're definitely in there.
I'm so bad. Being in Southern California right now, I see the yoga pant thing all the time, and I'm like, I don't think I look as good as those girls do in those yoga pants. There's so many fitness fanatics, you know, in Southern California. It's amazing.
Well, let's get back a little bit back to your background. I mean, you rode bucking horses for a long time. I know you say that you're retired now. How did that come about? Because that is not typically something you see women doing.
Well, I think my mom is very glad that I'm retired now. When I was a kid, I saw this book. My sister had a book by Teresa Jordan called Cowgirls, and it had this just amazing array of women that, you know, from the late 1800s to modern times that were just pioneers in the rodeo world and the ranching world. And I would read it again and again, and there was always, you know, these stories of Vera McGinnis and all of these lady bronc riders that I would keep returning to. And there were these pictures of them, and they were so girly, and they were up there on these huge bucking horses, and you know, they had bows in their hair, and they were lipsticks, and they had sequins, and they had feathers, and they were so feminine, and they were so tough. And I was like, I should do that. That was like fun.
That whole leather and lace aspect.
Absolutely, and it looked like fun, and I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie anyway. I'm kind of like that anyway. My sister, you know, like I've said before, she was always super into the horsemanship growing up. I like to rope, and I like to go fast. That's pretty horrible. I was always like, let's go, go, go. And so it kind of seemed perfect, and I had no idea what I was doing, and I was like, oh, ranch bronc riding, this will be fun. And there was a bronc riding up in, we were in Northern California. There was one up in MacArthur, and threw the rig in the back and went up and then looked back and just kept going, and I loved it.
Did you have any opposition from your parents? I feel like that's something that my parents would not be happy about.
I can't say that they were happy about it.
For those who can't see, Mama is
Mom's in the background.
She was not happy about it.
I actually ended up running away quite a few times, and I'm not proud of that. Kids don't do that. Yeah, I ran away a lot because I started riding before I was 18, so I had to get release waivers signed, and I'm sorry that you have to find out this way, but I did forge your signature on a couple of them, Mom. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna press charges.
I know, I'm so bad. It was terrible, but yeah, I did end up kind of running away a couple of times to go do it, and I'd come back, and I think I came back one time and it was all kind of busted up, but it was a great ride, and it was just the get off that was kind of hard. And I don't even think my dad said anything when I walked in the door. It was kind of like, I can't believe you. And then later he was like, how'd it go? How was it? So it was kind of, after a while, I think they kind of figured out that it wasn't a passing thing. It wasn't going to stop. And they were so lovely. They ended up putting in a bucking machine for me at the house so that I could practice, because my dad is like, you know, if you're going to do this, you got to be the best that you can be at it. And so he would help me work out, and we'd go practice on it, and it was great. It actually ended up being a fun family thing to go do out there.
Of all the activities.
I know, right?
You're definitely a force of nature. You definitely blaze your own trail. What's next down the road for you?
Well, I think next for me, I'm going to be graduating in about 6.5, 7 months, which I am so excited about. So right now, I'm really focusing on trying to get all of these papers written. You know, everybody was out partying last night, and I was writing essays last night on cybersecurity. So, you know, right now, kind of really trying to force myself to finish up strong with school, and I'm also at the moment working with the city of Santa Barbara in Southern California, doing journalism. I'm on camera and doing interviews with them, which is really fun. It's something I'm really interested in. And then in January, we go into the studio to work on the new album. So we've got over 100 new songs, and the paring down has begun. The blog and the website is going to be getting a facelift in the next month or so. I'm really excited about that. It's kind of been in the works for a while. And we've been doing some fun new things like advertising on the website. We've got, you know, for small businesses, we do the giveaways every Saturday where we're really trying to promote Western businesses. And that's just been really, really fun to see how excited people are about that. I love that. So yeah, it's gonna be a little crazy.
Is there any insight that you can give us on this new album?
Oh boy, new album is going to be, think female Chris Christopherson and Johnny Cash, lots of outlaw, lots of, yeah, maybe a lot of cowboy and a lot of outlaw in this one.
Well, we wish you all the best. We hope
you.
that you go and find that album when it drops. Stay tuned. We're going to have Quinn Kessler here this afternoon. He just won round 7 with Matt Sherwood. He'll be here signing autographs. And then at 3, we will have Adrienne Buckaroo Girl doing her final performance here in Vegas. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.